to a national brand, and now we've gone to international. And we have events right across, we have 14 events this year across the UK as well, in Manchester, in Portsmouth, in Edinburgh, in Ireland.
So all of the stakeholders in these events are going to have to work quite closely together to make it happen for you. How do you handle that across so many different territories?
Well, we're lucky because our decision was to underpin our business with global brands. We love the North East, and it's very important for us and to Brendan that the brand will always come from the North East. It's where it came from. It's part of the values of the company. So the Great North Run will always be the original formula, a bit like Coca-Cola. It will be where the syrup came from. But it's now about taking that out globally. And therefore, we've underpinned our business with global brands, which we feel are recession-proof, also give us long-term strategic benefits and mean we can go to more countries with them. So Bupa is a healthcare company, as you know. It's the leading #1 healthcare in the UK. It's currently expanding its portfolio outside of the UK and now going internationally. It's just set up a big business in Australia, hence the reason we've gone to Australia. We've just signed deals with Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola will be our hydration partner, again, a global brand. Nokia as our mobile partner going forward, Nike. So they are all very much about internationalization of the brand, taking it out and using these key sponsors with long-term commercial partnerships to make them happen.
It's interesting that you've gone to Australia because Bupa have gone there. So the relationship obviously works both ways.
It's very important. I mean, these events will not pay for themselves just through consumer income. Entries do not put one of these events on. Just to put the athletes on the start line of the Great North Run costs about £750,000. They all get paid. They don't come for nothing. I thought before I started Nova, you just put a bit of string across the central motorway, everybody lined up and you ran. But it's about £750,000 just to bring those athletes in because they all get paid for coming. So you've got to have good commercial sponsorships to make the thing work. It won't work just with consumer income.
Cool. Thinking about the success, the sponsors that you've got aren't just about sport.
No.
They seem to have a far broader range. And sometimes they don't necessarily look like they're natural fits, but they obviously work well. Can you tell us a bit about the different partnerships and relationships that you've created?
Yeah, I mean, these partnerships originally were about television. The reason people got involved with the Great North Run was it had television. To start with, it had local television. Then it got national television. The BBC TV generates about 2.6 million audience. So it's a big audience, and it's a good return on investment for any sponsor. But, you know, as times are changing, these sponsors now aren't interested in TV because very soon the TV audience is going to fragment. You know, you can see now audiences at 11 o'clock at night are you get about 2.3% share or 3% share for an audience because the audience is going to be all over the shop. It's going to be across all of those digital channels. So now what they're becoming very interested in is our database and relationship marketing. So it's our database of over 500,000 people who like to be active that they're now interested in because they want to engage with each of those people individually on their journey to health and fitness. So what's really driving it now is health and fitness and a personal engagement with each of those consumers. As soon as that person gives themselves the challenge of doing the run, you've got 14 weeks to talk to them. And they all want to talk to Brendan about bananas, you know, what they should do with their nipples in case they get nipples. I'm sorry, I hope I can say nipples, but in case they get nipples, you know, athletes' nipples are a terrible thing, I can tell you. It's a good opportunity for lots of people out there. But they all want to talk to you about all those things. And new technology means now we can talk about them because we can create millions of Brendan Fosters online, and they can all get a personal message from them. They can all ask them questions through blogs, and we can build up a very accurate profile of those individual consumers. So television did drive it, but now it's very much more relationship marketing.
And you've been with Bupa for almost 20 years, 17, 18
years? We've been with Bupa 17 years,
17.
and they've been fantastic. And they're always obviously about healthcare and wellness. And you know, they've just signed up a contract with us for another 5 years. So it gives us a great opportunity of developing this brand through to 2013.
And they must feel like they're getting some real ROI. Some real return on their
Definitely, because I think it's getting very hard now to talk to the consumer. And if you can create a communication pathway that says we're going to capture this consumer early on their journey to get ready for the event, and we can talk to them about wellness and getting themselves prepared and what things to eat and what things to drink, then that's a very, very attractive proposition now for a sponsor, rather than spending a lot of money on above-the-line advertising, which at the end of the day could get you very little return. So I think for us now, the big thrust for us is to put money into the database, into the website, and really make sure we've got those consumer profiles accurate, because that's what they really want to get into.
So do you just pick the phone up and say, sponsor us, and they say, OK? Well, how does that
Well,
work? You can't just go to Bupa.
It's very hard.
It is.
I'm about to say that, aren't I?
But how do you establish these relationships? Because, for anybody looking at, let's say, if you were starting a business in the Northeast and you wanted to get your local computer company to sponsor you or whatever, there are ways of doing it that you're obviously very experienced in, and it'd be useful for you to share that.
Well, I think the main thing is to get yourself the business case and to get a showcase. We're very lucky, I'm very lucky to work for a brand that's got a fantastic regional showcase. I can bring anybody up to see this and they fall in love with it. If I get them to run it or shake hands with a celebrity from Coronation Street, they melt in your hands. They really think this is fantastic, and so it is. So to have a showcase, to have something that you can show them, because every day, that's just a road. That's just the road down to the Nook shopping centre, turn left and go along the coast road. So it's got nothing special until we dress it and make it into something really special. So I think we're very lucky to have a showcase and something we can show people. Right. So the first thing I think you do is to make your concept and then make it happen.
And how do you keep them? You've got a lot of big eggs in a relatively small basket. You've got Nike, you've got Coca-Cola, you've got Bupa. They're demanding on their own, but to try to satisfy all these people, it must be an incredibly difficult juggling act. How do you manage that? How do you maintain the relationship? Well,
I think it comes down to people, actually. I think that at the end of the day, it used to be easy to have sponsors. You didn't have to do a lot. It could be quite cosy. People didn't have to report back to boards. People didn't have to talk about ROI. It was an easy world. And now, unfortunately, the boards want to know, what am I getting? What's my return on investment? So you've got to put people against it. So all of these key accounts have key account teams working them all the time. And we're very much now into proactive management. We don't wait till things go wrong, because, the nature of the world, things will go wrong. We tell them beforehand, we tell them that things are going to go, that something's not right, so at least they know when they come to the Great North Run. If we haven't got a few boards up or we've had a problem, they know it beforehand. So it's about proactive management. It's about giving them good market data as well. We've had to become, in the 5-6 years I've been in Nova, we've moved from being a product company to being a sales company, and now we're a marketing company. And I think when you have market-leading brands, you've got to know the market inside out. So we're putting a lot more time and effort into the consumer profiles, the database. We've become their experts, and they depend on us now for their market intelligence when it comes to sport and fitness. And I think that's what will allow us to grow more in terms of our global presence.
Cool. I am quite happy to take questions from the floor if anybody has any burning issues. I keep sort of glancing around just to see if anyone's got their hand up, so feel free to chip in if you want. One relationship that I think has got to be absolutely critical to the success of this whole thing is not a sponsor at all, it's the local authorities and the councils. How do you get their buy-in for something that is so completely disruptive?
Yeah, we call it organised disruption, just to get the term right, actually. It's organised disruption.
But it's disruptive in an incredibly organised way.
It's very, very organised. Yeah, we do create chaos when we go to a city. We go to cities, and one person once told me, you don't know a big event unless there's a traffic jam. We just did the first Great North Swim. I don't know if anybody here did the Great North Swim. Fantastic. 1 mile swim, cross Lake Windermere, open water swim. You could just come and do it. We thought it wouldn't be very successful. 2,500 people came. And they swam 1 mile across Windermere, which was fantastic for them. We caused traffic chaos. We had 20 miles each way of the actual swim. Fantastic audience. It was great. And it really does make it into a big event. But locations, the key thing for the location is the economic impact. As I say, the Great North Run generates £36 million worth of economic impact. Manchester generates about £12 million worth of economic impact. So put a big event on, get people to come to the region or come and stay in hotels, eat out, take part in it, buy things locally. So the local authorities actually really like it. And we've got lots of local authorities saying, bring it to us, bring the actual event to our city. We'll manage the disruption, but the economic impact far outweighs that. The second point on that is a fantastic image of any city. If you put the event in the city and create the backdrop of the city as the arena, that's going off right across the world, because it doesn't just go on the BBC, it goes on ESPN, it goes on Fox, it goes on Star, it goes right across the world. So from a regional branding point of view, it's great to have that image going out across many, many cities, getting into many people's houses.
So the Great North Run and the relationships that it started with has grown into something completely different to what it originally was, hasn't it?